Live on YouTube. Let's get live over on Facebook. You'd think I'd have all this ready to rock. All right, so we're live there. We're live here. Let me see if I can fix my camera a bit. I don't know about you guys, but I use bread ties for everything. And I don't even eat bread. Hi, happy Saturday. Happy 4th of July weekend. Happy yoga day. What do we want to celebrate today? YouTube camera is not cooperating. Sorry. About all of that. Can't get it to point at the map. All right. Oh, that might work. All right. So the bread tie didn't work. And I made everyone sufficiently ill over on YouTube. Are you guys feeling a little like you were riding a roller coaster there? So, I don't know. You guys aren't even seeing the map. That was so weird. I don't know why that's completely uncooperative. Okay. I'm about to give up. Okay. All right. I think we're good. Yeah? All right. That's Carmen. Okay, yeah. Sorry. I get distracted with all this technical stuff, and then it's like, oh, okay, switch to yoga time. So anyway, good morning, you guys. And again, happy holiday weekend, 4th of July, and if you have an extra day off, if you don't. Either way, it's Saturday. Hopefully you can get some yoga on today. So if you saw the post that I did with the crazy pose, it really wasn't as completely out there as sometimes it is. Karma's trying to figure out a way around. Good way though. Sorry. Yeah, it wasn't so completely out of the realm of possibilities this weekend, but it is a really intense twist. It's essentially a revolved side angle pose. So we're going to do side angles, we're going to twist it up, we're going to do lots of twists in lots of places. And remember, it's not about making your body do what the person in the picture is doing, right? It's about using those muscles, stretching the muscles that you want to be stretching, and being present in your body in that moment, right? The outward form is just extra, right? And if you're practicing at home, no one sees you anyway. So you could be, I was going to say failing miserably, but you guys know I don't really mean that, right? You don't ever fail, but you could look nothing like the picture. And as long as you're working your body in that same direction, it's the same thing, right? Or you could be, I don't know, killing it and being totally in it. Right? But it's all good wherever you go. Remember that. Remember, you can rest anytime you need to rest. Modify something, use blocks, props, whatever it is that you need so that your body is getting what it needs, not necessarily what I'm directing you to do, right? Not every pose is for every body. There's lots going on that in our bodies, right? That maybe it doesn't work out right at this minute. But again, you can always move in that direction, regardless of how deep you go, right? How much you get like the picture. So let's spend the next hour working and we'll see what we come up with, right? So let's align the heels to the groin. Take inner thigh rotation here, of course, making sure you're upright on the pelvis. We won't be here terribly long, but anytime you sit, whether you're in a yoga class, whether you're sitting on the couch, you're sitting in your car, you're sitting at your desk, if you work at a desk, really focus on where your pelvis is. Engaging the belly, lift the pelvic floor, lower belly in and up, tall through your sides, but soft through the upper belly. Go ahead and close your eyes. Extend out the crown of your head here, feeling tall through your spine. Noticing your natural breath. And then breathing all through the nose, begin to stretch the breath out. Inhales get a little bigger. And the exhales get a little bit more complete. So eventually you find that place that is just beyond comfortable. So the breath is a little bit of a stretch, it's a little bit of work, helps keep us focused on it. Keeping everything that we have set here. Belly, the pelvis, the spine, those big, beautiful breaths, the mind is focused, right? Let's extend the arms out to the sides and with an inhale, stretch up toward the ceiling. And exhale back down again. Let's do that again. One more time. Back to the top. And as you exhale, take your right hand forward and your left hand back. Inhaling, come up to the center again. And then switch, left hand forward and the right hand back. So side to side like that, connected to your breath. Notice you might barely get around, but just let it be what it is. And after maybe a breath or two, you can rotate around in there a little deeper. So the next time your right hand is forward and your left hand is back, allow yourself to linger here. So let the fingertips come to the floor. Sit really tall through your spine. Notice where in your spine you feel the twisting the most. And then we're going to come back up to the top and switch sides. So the left hand's forward, then the right hand is back. And then the same idea here. Just pause for a moment. See if you can sit a little taller. Are you still really even on your pelvis? And then come on back to the center. Exhaling, release the arms. So from here, let's come around onto hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, or knees under hips here. Hands are nice and even into the mat. Belly's pulled in. We're going to inhale the belly toward the floor. And then exhale to round the spine toward the ceiling. In and out with the breath here, moving up and down the spine. Take one more flow like that. And then find a middle. So from here, let's go ahead and extend the right leg straight back. Heel in line with the hip. We want to press through the heel. Make that leg straight and strong. From there, stretch the left hand forward, reaching away in opposite directions. Make sure the belly is engaged to protect your lower back. And then release it, hand and knee to the floor. Moving second side, let's extend the left leg. Press through the heel. And the right arm extending forward when you're ready. Smooth, easy breaths. And releasing back to the mat. Let's go back to that first side, extending right leg and left arm. Keep stretching away from the body here. Take the arm over to the left, right off the shoulder maybe. Leg around to the right, right off the hip maybe. And then release the left hand to the floor. Take the toes over to the side here. Let's come up on the right, left knee. Heel in line with the hip, toes are pointing forward, belly's in. We're gonna lift the left arm and come over the outside of the right leg. So you can lean a little bit if you need to. Try not to go too crazy leaning there. Drawing this left shoulder back as much as you can. And then inhaling on your way back up. Release the hands back to the mat. Lifting the leg, hold it out to the side here for just a moment to make it work. And then take the leg back and down. Working the second side, same idea, the left leg, right arm extending away. And then we're gonna take the arm over to the right and the leg around to the left. Press through the heel, stretch through your fingertips here, hold and breathe. Release the hand, take the toes over to the side and come up on the right knee here. Adjusting the foot, so if it landed forward or back, just make it where it should be. And then lift the right arm, taking it up and over. Really opening up the right side of the body. Nice big breaths. And then coming back up again, inhale. Bringing the hands down. Ground into the four corners here. Make sure your belly's working. Lift the left toes. Don't worry about high. Try not to lean a whole bunch. Make the muscles do the work. And then take the leg back and down. So one more here with this position. We're going to extend that right leg again. Left arm. This time bend your knee and have the hand reach around for your foot. So maybe finding the balance is the issue, maybe finding the foot is the issue. If you've got both of those things, pressing the foot into the hand, you can draw your shoulder back, lifting your toes a little higher. Keep the knee pointing at the floor rather than over to the right. And take one more breath. Release that, stretch out long again, and drop it down, all fours. Second side, left leg, right arm. When you're ready here, bending at the knee and finding your foot. Take your time, find where the stretch is, find where the work is. And then releasing what you got, stretch long, and back down into all fours. So let's go ahead and sit back into a child's pose for just a moment here. Releasing your spine. Let's come back to our all fours then. And from here, we're going to take the left hand palm up, leaving it underneath. You can drop down to your elbow, or you can continue to extend away and drop down to your shoulder. So you want to make sure your head is comfortable. You don't need leaning on your head. And you don't want your shoulders really close to your knees. And you don't want it too far away, so then you're really leaning on your face, right? Find that middle. And this is a nice little twist. Notice how the hips want to shift around to help. Try and stay centered on your knees. Press more into your right hand, opening up the shoulder. You can press more into the left arm and see if you can feel your belly rotating around there. So using the floor as much or as little as you're ready for is to increase your twist. And your right hand can stay on the floor, or you can lift it up toward the ceiling. What about taking the right knee off the floor and maybe lifting the right toes away from the mat? So adding in some balance here, keeping a twist, make sure you're breathing. And then releasing that back down. Making your way back to all fours. And we'll go our second time. So let's take the right hand, weaving it under. Again, either your elbow or your shoulder, just kind of watching that you're right in the middle of your mat so you're not leaning. And then you begin to press into the floor as much or as little as you'd like. Lifting the left arm if you want to lift the left arm. How about lifting the left leg? Take your time, work in pieces, make sure you're breathing. And then we're going to release that, making our way back into our all fours again. So then instead of being in this tabletop, let's go ahead and come to a kneeling plank. Shoulders are neutral on the back, the belly's working like crazy. Extend long through the crown of your head. And then from there, let's go ahead and take the left foot over to the left side of your mat. Keep the knee on the floor, open the body to the right. So you're on your left hand, left knee with your right toes at the bottom of your mat, the back of your mat. Belly's in, your right hand can make your hip extending toward the ceiling, whatever makes you happy there. So how about lifting the right foot here? What if you could bend the knee and then your right hand can find your right foot? Pressing the foot into the hands, turning the chest more toward the ceiling, adding in those pieces. Make sure your left hand is happy on the floor. Take another big breath. And then we'll gently release. Back into that kneeling plank. And then take the second side, same idea. So the right foot's gonna come to the right, the body opens to the left. So getting set here, feeling comfortable, Adding in the pieces, maybe finding the foot and opening the body toward the ceiling a bit. And then releasing that, making your way back into kneeling plank. And from there, we'll sit back into our child's pose again. So from child's pose, let's lift into our first down dog. And as always here, just let yourself stretch and wiggle. Belly's pulled in, grounding down into the four corners of the hands here. Press your chest back, get that nice stretch through your hamstrings. And then let's go ahead and lift the right leg. From there, stepping the foot through the hands, come to lunge. Dropping the left knee to begin. And then taking that right leg straight. So prop, of course, if you need to prop, you can definitely come up on the thigh even a little bit here. Right? Finding your hamstring stretch. Let's go ahead and bend into the knee. Let the hips come forward. Lifting the chest so you lengthen the spine. And then bring the right hand to the hip. Rotating your belly around toward the inner thigh here. Taking your side ribs toward the ceiling, drawing the shoulder back. So as much as the right shoulder is open, or the right side is opening toward the ceiling, you want to tuck your left side underneath. Otherwise, you might just end up leaning. Right? We just want to feel like we're spiraling around the spine. So releasing that, go ahead and take the leg straight again. Maybe find a little deeper hamstring stretch at this point if you're ready. And then let's bend back at the knee. And you can leave it that simple, right? The left hand stays put, the right hand comes to the hip and you twist. But maybe if your knee is sensitive, you might want to cushion it a little bit, doubling up your mat or using a towel or whatever you got there. We're gonna come up. So we don't wanna lean back. We don't wanna be on top of this knee. We wanna deepen the lunge. So the hips come forward, but they stay square, right? So you can still keep it pretty simple, bringing your left hand to the outside of the knee and your right hand to the hip. And that's a little bit fancier. If you want a little bit more, see if you can bend your left knee so the toes lift away from the floor. And then your right hand might be able to reach around and find your foot here. So we want to keep the lunge low. You can pull against the outside of the knee here to rotate the belly around a little bit. Keep your back toes pointing back. And maybe even kind of pull on your left foot to rotate your right shoulder around. I'm twisted and backwards. Take one more breath. And then gently release all of that. We're going to make our way back to down dog. And then we're going to switch sides. So bring the left foot forward. Dropping the right knee to the floor. When you're ready, go ahead and take that left leg straight. And then bend. Let the hips descend. Stay really stable and square through your hips. Keep it simple to begin here, just bringing the left hand to the hip and rotating around. Releasing the twist. Go ahead and take the leg straight again. And then let's bend back into the knee. Sink really low into the lunge. And watch that when we sink, we're not shifting off to the side, one side sagging, okay? Stay hugged into the middle here. So again, cushion your right knee if you feel like you need a little extra love back there. Keep it simple, right hand on the floor, left hand on the hip. Maybe keep it a little bit simple still, just taking the right hand to the outside of the knee and the left hand to the hip. And then if you want to get all fancy, bend the right knee so your right toes lift up off the floor and your left hand finds your foot back there. Sink low into your hips using the outside of the knee. And when you're pulling against the knee, make sure your knee stays pointing forward. Otherwise, well, probably you fall down, but you lose your leverage, right? So gently releasing all of that. We're going to make our way back to our down dog again. And just let yourself wiggle and stretch a little bit here. So let's go ahead and step the feet forward, coming into standing fold. Taking the feet just a step wider than normal maybe, so just outside of the shoulders. And then let's take the fingers to interlace behind the lower back here. Shoulders pull toward each other on the back, the knuckles can stretch away. Make sure the shoulders are moving away from the ears as much as your hands are moving away from the shoulders. The neck stays long. And then we'll release the hands back to the mat. Let's take the feet an extra step wider. So you don't have to go crazy, just a narrow straddle, right? And then let your hands walk over to the right. They are where they are, whether it's the floor, your shin, whatever. The body weight wants to lean, let it for right now. And then we're going to come back through the center. Do the same thing over to the second side. So walk the hands left. And then we're going to come back to the center again. So take the feet an extra step wider. So it's still not crazy wide. And you can move sideways on your mat if you feel better about that. But make sure that your feet are either all on or all off your mat. You don't want your foot to be crooked half on and half off. So toes are pointing forward. We're nice and even into the four corners of the feet here. And this time we're not going to allow the body to shift. Right? The hands are going to walk over to the right again, but the lower body stays put. So maybe you feel very similar to where you were before, and maybe it's completely different sensation. We're going to release that coming back through the center and over to the left, same idea. So the lower body isn't shifting, it's all upper body here. So then let's come back to the middle and take the feet an extra step wider. So now we're getting into more of our normal straddle territory. But if it's too much, you bring it in. If it's not enough, you take it out. Fingertips to the floor. So ideally, your legs are straight, arms are straight. If you have to prop up with a block, feel free to prop up with a block. Or maybe take a wider or more narrow stance, whatever works. So we're going to take the left hand to the floor, or to the floor underneath our face. So it's kind of in the middle now. Right hand's going to come to the hip, and we're going to rotate around into a twist. So if you feel the body shift, put it back, right? So you've got this twist. It may or may not be very giant. Don't worry about it. But make it a little bit more active. So imagine pushing down into the floor with your left hand and sort of sweeping over to the left, like we did when we were on our shoulder and our knees, right? Using the floor to kind of work you around a little bit deeper. And you can use the floor more, or you can use your body to kind of this this push and pull idea. Right now it's the floor. We're gonna release that twist. And do the same thing on the second side. So the right hand's in the middle and the left hand's at the hip. The body rotates around, pressing against the floor, and then imagine pulling against it so you can maybe work a little deeper. Extending forward through the crown of the head so we don't lean. And then we're going to release that. From here, walking the feet back in, up underneath the hip bones. Hip bone distance apart, toes are pointing forward, nice and even on the feet again here. Let's bring the hands up to the thighs. Pressing away, come parallel-ish to the floor. Make sure your belly's working. Keep the shoulders back, lean on the hands. The hands on the thighs if you need to lean a whole bunch or a little. And then bend back into the knees and sit into a chair. Four corners of the feet, hang on, come center, extend the arms, whatever makes you happy there. Tucking the tailbone, lifting the chest. Take one more breath here. And then inhale and stretch to the ceiling. And release the arms. So make sure your feet are up underneath your hip bones. We want to be nice and even on the feet here. Taking the hands, you can support the lower back or you can interlace behind the back if you're happier with that. Just do what you need to do. It's still a little early. We haven't done a ton of back bending. We want to make sure the belly is in, the tailbone turns down. Hug your elbows toward each other. Hug your shoulder blades toward each other. And then lift the chest up toward the ceiling. So creating length in the spine and then opening up into this little back bend. And of course, you can make it bigger if you're ready to make it bigger. Keep the chin tucked toward the throat so the back of the neck stays nice and long. And breathe. Let's take one more breath here. With the next inhale, we're going to make our way back up to a neutral spine and then release the arms. So support with the hands on the thighs for sure here. We're going to come forward into a half fold kind of place. Take a moment. And then gently move over into your full fold again. In this fold here, bring your feet together. So then hug your legs in, squeeze them together. They may not touch, right? But we want to keep moving them in toward each other. Hands up to the thighs, bend into the knees, and sit into this variation of chair. So it's a little bit more wobbly for sure, but it's going to make the next piece a little bit easier. So keep squeezing the legs toward each other. Keeping it simple, you can just bring the left hand to the outside of the knee and the right hand to the hip and rotate around. Okay? If you want a little bit more complicated, see about them bringing the left elbow to the outside of the knee. And then the palms can touch here and you can rotate around. So whether it's the elbow or the knee or the hand, push against the outside of the knee without letting your legs go all wonky. So that's why we squeeze them together to try and keep them stable. You're breathing, right? And then releasing that twist. Take the legs straight again, give yourself a little break for a second. And we're going to the second side. So start hugging your legs toward each other, bend back into the knees, coming up into that chair position for just a second. And then you decide whether you just want the right hand on the knee or the elbow. And you rotate around here, using the arm into the outside of the leg to deepen the twist. Take one more breath. And then release the twist. Come back into the fold. And then we'll step our feet out into that hip bone distance place. This time here, bending into the knees first with an inhale, roll your spine all the way up to standing. And we're going to take some sun salutes here. So remember to connect to your breath, listen to your body, modify whatever it is you need, making it harder or less intense. Right? So from here, inhale, stretch your arms up toward the ceiling. Exhale, take yourself over into a fold. Inhaling, come halfway up. And then exhale, step yourself back to plank. And drop on down to the belly. Hands next to the side ribs. As you inhale, roll your shoulders, little baby cobra. Releasing that, up and back to down dog. Inhaling, step the feet forward. Coming back to the fold again. And with that next inhale, come halfway up. Fold it back over. Reach to the ceiling, inhale. And release the arms, exhaling. So just like that again, keeping it that intensity, bumping it up, right? Listen to your body. Let's go, inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway up again. Step back to plank. Dropping down, knees if you like knees. Hands next to the side ribs as you roll, pull. You can press coming a little higher for your cobra. Releasing up and back into down dog. And then stepping forward into fold. Halfway up. Exhale over. And then come all the way up. And release the arms. Adding on with the next piece, again, maybe. With the inhale, we're going to sit into the chair. And then exhale over into the fold. Halfway up. Exhale back into your plank. Drop it down. Roll to cobra. Release back to down dog. And then the next inhale brings a right foot forward lunge. Back heel or knee to the floor, you decide. Inhaling, lift your upper body. And then exhale back down into your lunge and step back down dog. With an inhale, slide forward into plank. And exhale down. Inhale, cobra. Back to down dog. So with that next inhale, the left foot steps forward. Toes to fingers all the way up. Heel or knee to the mat and lift. Come on back down again. And step back down dog. Inhale, forward plank. Exhale down. Inhale, cobra. And then back to your down dog. So you decide if you hold your down dog or drop into child's pose. Let your breath decide, right? If you're all out of breath, come down and rest. This is a piece of cake, stay up in your down dog. So take one more breath where you are. Lift into down dog if you did drop down. And then with the inhale, step the feet forward into fold. Halfway up on your next inhale. Fold over again. And then into chair. And release. All right. So let's go ahead and take a short step back with the right foot. All 10 toes are going to point forward here. When you bend into the left knee, make sure your right heel stays put. Hands on the hips for now, squaring up the hips. And then leave the hands where they are if that's what you prefer, or extend reaching toward the ceiling. Grounding down into the back heel, feel that nice stretch in the calf. Feeling very centered, strong and stable on that left foot. You can absolutely leave these arms extending, but it might be a little challenging for the balance. So maybe bring center or support on the thigh or hips, wherever. Belly's in, we're gonna come up on the back toes and transition to warrior three. So lifting the right leg. Ideally parallel to the floor, maybe, right? Press through the heel. So the right leg is straight, maybe the left leg is straight. You can hang on with your hands on the thigh. You can fly your arms wherever you want to fly your arms. Keeping the hips square. Bend back into the knees, step the right foot way back into a lunge. And then take the left leg straight, or straightish. Prop if you need to be propped. The hips are square, so we're up on those back toes. And then bend into the left knee, so back into our lunge. So here, you can drop down to the back knee, again, of course, if you need. Climb up on the thigh. The right hand can be up to the outside of the knee and the left hand can be to the hip, right? We've been here or somewhere near here. Maybe the right elbow to the outside of the knee. Pull your belly around, rotate around using the back of your right arm into the outside of the knee. The more you can get your knee into your armpit-ish, maybe your right hand can touch your left ankle, the outside of your left ankle. Then you have the entire arm to press against your shin, right, or your lower leg. The left arm maybe reaches toward the ceiling. You can have your palms together, like we did in our chair, right? Any of those variations. So find what works. Make sure you're breathing. You've got this beautiful twist, whatever it looks like. And then we're going to release all of that. Step back to down dog. Slide forward into a plank. Exhale to the belly. Roll to cobra. And then back to down dog. Let's walk the feet to the hands, come to standing fold again. And taking another bend in the knees here, rolling up through your spine. All right, so side B, stepping back, short step with the left foot. So all 10 toes pointing forward, 4 corners of the feet, even into the mat, bending into the right knee if you haven't already. Square up the hips, extend the arms if you want to extend your arms. Transitioning from there into our warrior three. So you decide where your hands go. Come up on the back toes, all the way to the right foot, lifting the left. So working to keep the hips level. Hang on if you need to hang on. Prop if you need to prop. If your fingertips need to be on the floor, let them. Fly the arms wherever you feel like you want to fly your arms. And then let's go ahead and bend back into the knees, stepping way back for our lunge again. Taking the right leg straight. Bending into the knee again. And decide if the left knee up is too much, you take it down. Sweep the legs toward each other. Keep it super simple, right? Keep it somewhat simple. Working the elbow toward the outside of the knee. Rotate into the belly as much as you can. Maybe dig more of your armpit to your knee. The palms can touch. They can extend. They go wherever. And you can breathe here, right? One more big breath. Releasing all of that. Step back to your down dog. One last time here, shift forward into your plank. Take it down to the belly. Roll for cobra. And back to down dog. So give yourself just a little second in down dog here, stretch, wiggle. Dropping down to the knees, sitting back in a child's pose. Let's come to sit up on the heels here, and we'll bring the legs around front. So let the legs extend out long. Make sure you're upright on your pelvis here. Sit really tall, reaching the arms up, and then folding forward over the legs. Remember, your hands fall where they fall. Don't make it about your toes. Keep the shoulders down. Just open and lifted. And then we'll inhale, bringing ourselves back up again. Releasing the arms. Let's bring the right foot flat to the floor. So this foot can be to the inside or to the outside. Your left leg can stay extended, or maybe the heel can come into the hip. So we want the right foot on the floor, the pelvis level into the mat, and the spine in our long, even, natural curves, right? So if this left leg needs to go back out, it does. Don't worry about that too much. Wrap your left arm around the leg, or the right leg. Right hand behind your back. We're gonna press into the floor enough to lift the chest, holding against the outside of the leg to rotate around. So using the body for that little bit of extra leverage. And because we've used the elbow at the outside of the knee, let's see if that will work here. Okay? So instead of having your arm kind of wrapped around your knee, see if you can take your left elbow to the outside of your knee. If the leg is far out, that doesn't really work too much. And we don't want to make reaching for the knee collapse the left shoulder in toward your chest or make your spine round. Okay? So it may or may not get there, but you're going to use your elbow to press against it. Sit really, really tall here. Use your right arm like crazy. And then gently release the twist. Unhook your legs. And we'll go to that second side. So again, the left foot can simply be to the inside. Right? You can wrap the arm around it here. You can place that foot to the outside with the right leg straight or bent. See what happens. If it makes you sit funny, forget it. Take the leg back out again. So the pelvis is level, the spine is really tall. And again, we can simply just wrap around the front of the knee using the left hand behind the back. And you can pull here. There's nothing wrong with that at all. If you are able, without again letting this right shoulder go all wonky or your spine get crazy, maybe the elbow comes, and it's kind of to the outside of the knee. It's almost to the top of the knee, right? But watch, if the shoulder has to collapse in or your spine rounds to get it there, forget it. Press against to open up. Take one more breath. And then release the twist. Unhook your legs here and go ahead and shake them out. So make sure you're forward enough, and then bring the soles of the feet together. Hanging onto your ankles, lift your chest. Lean back and balance. And then go ahead and C-curve your spine and roll on down to your back. Soles of the feet can stay together. Let's take them to the floor, resting the knees out to the sides. And then we'll draw the knees back together. Pulling the knees in toward the chest, rocking, massaging the back against the mat. So this final twist is going to be yours, right? We've pushed, we've pulled, we've done all kinds of crazy stuff in our twists. But we're gonna do whatever the body needs from us. So there are a million options here. The idea is maybe probably just to open the arms out into a T position. You can keep your knees in more towards your chest and let them fall to the side, right? We're gonna start to the right, so if that's where you know you wanna go, that's fine. You can take your feet to the floor, maybe crossing your legs, right? Or ankle over the knee. You can shift your hips over to the left and then let them fall to the right, leaving your knees bent, taking your legs straight. Any variation that your body still needs, right? And then ideally here, let yourself just kind of release into it. We've spent almost an hour now pulling and pushing and moving and making our way into these twists. See what happens if you just simply release. Let gravity do the work. And see what happens. And remember, you can always stay in one place for a little bit and then transition to another variation. And just so you can kind of plan a little bit, we'll spend, say, 5 more breaths on this side. Making your way up to center again. And ideally, whatever side, whatever variation you did on that side, take it to your second side. And again, you can linger in one and then transition into another. But ideally, wherever you are, just let the body release into it. And notice the difference in where you go working versus where you go releasing. So then 5 more breaths on this side. And then we'll make our way back up to the center again. Draw the knees back into the chest and rock. Squeezing the knees in as tight to the chest as you can bring them. Pull the forehead in toward the knees, round up through your spine. And then release, take yourself a full body stretch. Releasing that stretch, let your arms come down by your sides. Find a line. So any little shifts, anywhere you need to prop. And then release the muscles. Get heavy. Sinking into the mat. And then allowing your focus to come back solely to your breath again. And there is nothing to do. Allow your body to rest. Allow your mind to rest. Taking just a few minutes here. remember, you can absolutely stay here as long as you like. If you're ready to begin to restore movement to your body, allowing a nice deep breath, exhaling that all away. Listening to your body and what it needs, even here. When you're ready, bringing the feet flat. Gently rolling yourself off to the side. Keeping the eyes closed even as you make your way back up to seated. Bringing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thanks for playing. Hopefully you guys feel good and twisty. Remember, a twist can be detoxifying, so hydrate well. I was just going to say drink a lot, but yeah, maybe. I don't know, right? But yeah, hydrate well today. Enjoy your time off if you have time off, and I will see you next week. Remember, if you have suggestions or questions for me, feel free to holler either either on Facebook here, out at the website, anydayyoga.com, wherever you need to reach out to me. I'm there for you, right? So again, see you. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.